So if you need help or you're lost, they will do their best to help you out. That's why I keep saying, don't panic and do not try to, feel desperate or anything. Alhamdulillah, there is enough help over there. So let's say I normally arrive at 7 o'clock or 7:30. I never managed to make it to the hotel before 6 a.m. Never. I did my best. Always 11 hours. 10 and a half, 10, 12, 13. So please be patient when you arrive. There is absolutely nothing we can do about it. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the changes that are taking place this year. Maybe inshallah it will be a shorter trip from the moment you arrive till the moment you reach your hotel. What I'd like to say is, when you get to the hotel, and this happens a lot, especially when we are checking people in the hotel in Mecca, Medina, and in the apartment building. System, there are some chairs over there if you'd like to sit. Jazakallah. The line in the US is like that. The line overseas is like this. And everybody extend his hand, want to give you his ID number to give you his key to go to his room. It takes time to check 200 or 300 people or even 100 people in a hotel. And when you start getting requests from all over the place, that makes life more difficult. So please, just like we expect things to go smooth, like the US, let us act like we are in the US. So when we stand in line, let us really stand in line. It's okay, 5 extra minutes. You got no appointments to go to, you got no phone calls to make, no email to check, no errands to run. You're there to worship. Be patient and see ajr from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that patience. Now this picture shows you that this area right here, if you see it, the slide next to it, these are the gates of the haram. And the reason I picked up that particular photo, because it shows in this area right here, the next image, there is nothing. If you can rotate it, that's the same spot. They demolished over the last 3 years. All this and all this got demolished for projects of the expansion of the haram. And that's why a lot of times things do not go right, because a lot of destruction, a lot of demolition of buildings is taking place, and they're trying to expand the haram. So, back to this picture. Our hotel is right here. This is the entrance of the hotel. And this is the courtyard of the haram. A lot of people ask, how far is the hotel from the haram? How long I'm going? It's right there. This is the entrance. You just walk. It's only one building that is connecting you to the haram. Again, so when you go out of the hotel, this is the older picture actually. You come out of here, you go into the door of King Abdul Aziz, Malik Abdul Aziz, Bawabat al-Malik Abdul Aziz. Because to me, I find it the easiest location to enter so you can start making your tawaf. You will arrive from here. This is where the King Abdul Aziz gate will take you. This is the angle. Actually, you'll enter at this angle from the haram into the Kaaba, which will allow you to walk a little bit more before you start your Umrah. I'm not going to get into all the logistics of Umrah, what happens when you're making tawaf, you lose your wudu, what happens if you get a phone call, what happens if you forget how many turns you made. I'm not going to get into all that. All I'm going to tell you is you need to circulate 7 times around the Kaaba, and when you start by the black stone, and you raise your hand and you say Allahu Akbar. And you start circulating and making whatever dua you want, but make sure when you circulate around the Kaaba, you do it from the outside of the Hijr of Ismail, because the Hijr is considered part of the Kaaba. And when you make the circle in this area right here, this is considered wrong, because that's you're going inside of the Kaaba. You need to do it from the outside of the Hijr. like the arrows are showing. So, what you do first is you wear your ihram, you expose your right shoulder for the 7 times you're circulating, and then the first three circles, you move fast, but you really cannot, so don't worry about it, it's not possible. And this is how the haram is going to be. So I guarantee you nobody can run in this condition. So you're lucky if you can walk. Please don't push anybody. Please don't shove anybody. If you think you cannot make tawaf from the first floor, go to the second or even the third. Hurting a Muslim is forbidden in Islam. Touching the black stone is a sunnah. Do not commit haram to perform a sunnah. And always keep that in mind. Hurting a brother is not acceptable in the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let's not commit a sin and jeopardize our Hajj so we can do something that is liked. Now a lot of people, I'm going to go on, this is where Maqam Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, right here. A lot of people after they're done tawaf, it is the sunnah to pray 2 rak'ahs behind Maqam Ibrahim. Can you imagine when people try to pray 2 rak'ahs right here? Believe me, I've seen a lot of people do it. And I don't know how they pray, I don't know how they can focus to pray, I don't know why they're endangering their life because they could be stepped on by tens of thousands of people because this is where the maqam. And people try to prostrate, and I've seen women trying to do that. Please do not do that. For your own safety, and also your prayer, you will have absolutely zero khushu' in your prayers. And also you will make it difficult for people to make tawaf, and you will cause more jam around the haram. This is how the haram is from the outside. So when you are done making tawaf, you will pray the 2 rak'ahs, drink zamzam, and you do your sa'i. We gave you a booklet on how to perform Hajj and Umrah. Please read it. Educate yourself. The internet has a lot of things that you can learn. Ask the imam in your masjid. Don't just go expecting to be taught over there. We will teach you, but you need to do your homework by learning how to perform Umrah. So when you arrive to Jeddah airport, let me back up a little. If your program starts in Mecca first, about an hour before getting to Jeddah, you need to say لبيك اللهم عمرة متمتعا بها إلى الحج. لبيك اللهم عمرة متمتعا بها إلى الحج. And for the sister, you need to say متمتعة بها إلى الحج. Okay? And you need to do that about an hour before you enter the Saudi airspace to be on the safe side that you did not cross the miqat. And Jeddah is not a miqat. So once you reach that point, you are already in the status of ihram. No bad talking, no perfumes, no clipping fingers. Men, you cannot cover your head with a hat. And you really need to act according to the sunan and obligations of ihram. When you are done with your sa'i, and the sa'i you start with a safa, and then you go to Marwa, and that's 1 time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. A lot of people, they go back and forth, they consider that 1. No, that's 2. Okay? So going one way is 1, 2, going back is number 2. You see the green light right here? In between, when Hajar radiallahu alayha salam went down from a Safa, there is a flat area she would get to, and she would run, and then she will go up to climb Al-Marwa. Men can only do that. Women cannot. If you're going with your wife, you run, and right when you get there, you try to walk slowly or wait for your wife to catch up with you. Sisters are not to run between the 2 green flags, or the light that they have. What we have is, once you're done with the tawaf, the sa'i, I'm sorry, I circled this. The reason I circled this because a lot of people, once they're done with the tawaf, they start the sa'i, they keep their right shoulder exposed. And you shouldn't. You should cover your right shoulder when you are making sa'i. Yes. Oh, from the, you mean outside?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you, the Safa is like a hill, and this, which is kind of sad, but this is what they did, and I don't know why they did that in Saudi Arabia, but I'm sure there is a good reason. We used to walk all the way up to the top of a Safa, and now they circled it where they do not allow you to reach them. There is no way. Don't try to be Tarzan and go over the fence and try to do it. This is what the government, this is what the law of the land is. I'm sure they asked big scholars, the Dar al-Ifta. So that's how it is. They barricaded it where you cannot reach there. And then when you go down, you also go up the hill. There are certain dua that's been mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ that you need to say there. I will try to take that presentation, inshallah, and email it to everybody so you can also have it digitally, so you don't have to write anything, inshallah. We can maybe send it to YouTube link, or maybe I can burn it on DVDs and just, give it away, even though nobody uses DVDs nowadays. So, what was that leadership? So, once you're done with the sa'i, you go out from the other side, and I exit. A lot of people they see brothers holding scissors, and they come and they cut a little bit here, a little bit, and they tell you, khalas, you can make the halal now. No, you cannot. When you either shave or shorten your hair like you go to a barber shop and tell him, shorten my hair. He doesn't take here, here, and here, and the back. He cuts it from all over the hair. He trims it all down. So if you want to do that, that's the proper way of getting your hair cut or trimmed. Don't let them tell you a couple of places is acceptable. It's not. The only thing it's acceptable for is for the sisters, that if their hair is braided, just about this much, about 1 centimeter, from the bottom of it, they cut it, and that's acceptable. Or if the hair is long, brush it and just go all the way across the same size, the same 1 centimeter. But for the brothers, just like you're getting a haircut, if you don't want to shave.
If you cut it from here, acceptable?
No.
Already.
No. Okay. When you make ihram, before you arrive to Jeddah, and you need to perform your umrah. Once you're done with your umrah, now you have to make tahallul in order to take that ihram off, in order to wash your hair with shampoo, fragmented shampoo, in order to put oil or perfume on, in order to cut your nails, in order to, do other business. Without that, you cannot. That's when you have to shorten your hair before you take your ihram off. Shortening the hair is part of being able to take your ihram off. So you do that after your umrah is over, after tawaf, after the 2 rak'ahs, after the zamzam, after the sa'i. Tawaf, you have to have wudu. Sa'i, you don't have to have wudu when you perform it. Now, in the hotel in Mecca, there is no lectures whatsoever because it's not allowed to have gatherings in the haram area. This is by the Prince of Mecca. So in Mecca, we leave you alone, you eat, you go pray, and you come back. A day before we leave to Medina, the buses will come and take us to the ziyarat. We'll go to Jabal Ghar Hira, Ghar Thawr, and we go to Mina, Arafah, and Muzdalifah if it was open, and we'll try to give you a field lecture, inshallah, on what's going on, so you have an idea of what to expect when you come back from Medina. Now, on the day that we are going to go to Medina, which is the first of the Hajj, which happens to be the 17th of October, inshallah. Our flight is at 1:15 p.m. There is one thing I would like you to be aware of. There is no such thing as at what time over there. There is something called around what time. And around what time, for those who are engineers, it will be plus or minus 2 to 3 hours. Maybe if you want to be a little bit more relaxed, like the brother who made Hajj with us a couple of years ago, sitting in the back, smiling and nodding his head, yeah, plus or minus 3 to 4 hours. The reason is, I'm not going to go back to the picture of the haram, but as we go forward, you will see 3 million people are attempting to do the same exact thing at the same exact time. There will be delays, there will be obstacles, there will be issues, there will be problems, there will be unforeseen circumstances, there will be things that you cannot honestly anticipate. Yani sometimes issues happen, you just pause and you say, La ilaha illallah. I think the only thing, and this is after 14 years experience in this, the only thing that makes Hajj work is the mercy and tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Without that, I don't think anybody can. Because you look at what's going on, you say it is impossible. Yet, subhanallah, Allah enables everybody to go do Hajj and come back. Subhanallah. So, be patient, allow things to happen, and when I say our flight is at 1:15, guess what? It could be 2:15, 3:15, 4:15, 5:15, no rush. Again, we got nothing to worry about. And whether you are in Makkah, Jeddah or Medina, everything is reserved and everything is paid for. Your hotel and Makkah. Your transportation from Makkah to Jeddah airport is already paid for and taken care of. Your airline is already from Jeddah to Medina is already taken care of. Even your ticket from Medina airport to Medina hotel is already taken care of. Your hotel is taken care of. Your transportation back to the apartment is taken care of. Your food in the building is taken care of. Alright, you know why? Because the Hajj ministry will not allow a barcode like this to be issued or a sticker like this to be issued unless all the contracts for every single Hajj has been submitted by the Hajj group and they got approval on that and they showed a full proof of payment. So don't worry about anything. Just because we're late, that doesn't mean something drastic happened. Just because you don't see your team members around you, that doesn't mean they're not there. We spend most of our time resolving issues and trying to make sure that things are going smooth. I have photos with me, I was going to show them to you, but then I decided not to. I have every single member of my staff sleeping in a car, on a chair, on the floor, on a desk, in the street, in an airport, awaiting for things to happen. And because they wait so long for this to move fast, because we always do it 2 to 3 people at the same time, somebody will be following up to open for us to process the paperwork while the other 2 are resting and they exchange. Except me, I had a picture on a boat on the beach over there to show you that I'm working too. But then I thought, you know what, no, forget it. Everybody is working over there and is working hard to make sure things are moving smoothly. So, we go, the buses will probably come around 9 a.m. to take us for our 1 o'clock trip. You wake up that morning, pray Fajr, eat breakfast, fast, and get into the bus to move to Jeddah airport. The night before, we will give you luggage tags, to tag the luggage that you do not need in Medina, so we can take it to the apartment building so you travel light. But guess what? Everybody comes back from Medina heavy with 2 and 3 bags because the sisters take time in Medina to shop and Allah bless their hearts. So please, whatever luggage you're not going to be using in Medina, leave it in Makkah. We'll take care of it for you. We'll put it in your room and make sure to label it properly. The flight from Jeddah to Medina is the plane will go up and down. Probably doesn't level. It's like a 35-minute flight. The entire plane is for Almanasik and other groups that we work with. So about 410 passengers on that flight are our people. There is no need to fight over boarding pads because that flight is not taken off without us. We are 98% of that flight. I've seen people from within our group fighting over who's going to grab a boarding pass first. Guess what? It's one plane, 420 tickets, everybody will get a ticket and everybody will get on that plane, inshallah. And this is what I'd like everybody in the group to please think of the person next to you as your brother, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that person is your brother or your sister. So if he was your blood brother or your mother or your father, you would want them to take that ticket before you. Let us act accordingly. That it doesn't matter, I'm going to get my boarding pass inshallah, and I'm going to get on that plane. When you arrive to Medina Airport, it's going to take about 2 to 3 hours before you board on the bus. Don't get upset, don't get impatient, don't get mad. Other people will try to jump in front of us and take the buses away from us. That's okay, let them. It's an hour, 2 or 3 at the most. We'll be able to get on the buses and go to the hotel in Medina. When you arrive to the hotel in Medina, I know it's early, but I'm going to say that. Please do not leave the bus unless you're told so. Because what happens, 200 people leave the buses and 200 people stand in the lobby. Very bad to process, very difficult, people get upset. Wait on the bus till you are asked to kindly please get out of the bus. What we always try to do is, and it never happens, because the hotel doesn't give us our keys till maybe 5 minutes before your arrival. That's why we don't know what room you're going to be in. Otherwise, we would have gladly. We already know each one of you sitting here, and we'll be listening to this tape, inshallah. What room, what group you're with, what's your bus number, and which room you're staying with, and who your roommate is. In Mecca, Medina, and in the building. The missing factor here, the variable is, we don't know what are the room numbers the hotel is going to give us, so we can assign them for you in advance and give you the key in Mecca even before you depart to go to Medina, to make life easy on you. But because we don't, please try to make life easy on us. Stay in the bus. Let us process 50 people at a time, because there is no way we can process 200 people at the same time, inshallah. So, from Mecca to Jeddah, it's about 80 kilometers, but it's probably going to take about a 3 to 4 hour trip, because 2 days before, we're going to go to the Mutawaf office and try to bring all your passports out, give it to the Mutawaf, make a ledger out of it, get an approval that this group can be transported, and your passports will be on the bus with you. Once you are on the bus, or once you cannot switch buses. You cannot get to be a good friend with a person, or your wife is a good friend with another sister. Oh, let's ride in that bus. When this happens, guess what? You could miss your plane. Because that bus will not move until every person on the list is in that particular bus. If there is a person missing, that bus is not going to move till that person comes. And what happens a lot of times, people get on the bus, they wait 15 minutes, they remember they need to do what? Anybody? They need to use the bathroom. We're talking about 30, 40, 50, and 60-year-old people that they start coming down out of the bus one at a time, want to use the bathroom. Please, use the bathroom before you get on the bus. Because what happens, you delay the bus, and what happens if we miss our flight to Medina, we will not get another flight. And we're not allowed to go by buses. So we might end up going back and going to the apartment. In Medina, we can give you lectures. So we let you rest one day, and then the second day we start giving you lectures about the etiquettes of Medina, the virtues of Medina. We will go on our visitation, and then we will go to Jabal Uhud, and I'll show you the image here. This is the airport, this arrow, red arrow here. and the airport is about 15 to 18 kilometers, about 10 to 12 miles away from the hotel. But again, it's going to take about 3 to 4 hours, inshallah. And this arrow, the small one, this is where Jabal Uhud is. So it's only about 4 kilometers, but it will probably take us about 1 hour to get there. This is our hotel, and this is a bigger image of it. It's called Ishraqat al-Madina, and it's about 220 meters from the Haram, from the Prophet's Masjid. The entrance, the reason we choose in this area, because this is where the women's entrances are, in the back. It is closer for the sisters to walk in. And if we make the sisters happy, then the brothers will not complain. As they say, happy wife, happy life. So when we do stuff, we put the sister into consideration to make the brother's life easy. So, and this is, they sent me a picture of the hotel room in there. So there will be 4 beds, and that's it. The real estate is very expensive in Mecca and Medina, so all the spaces are small, and a lot of hotels are only designed to have double or triples. So what they do, they take everything out to put the beds in, so people to stay. So the rooms are decent size, they're comfortable, they're clean, they're close, and the Medina hotel are not of the same standard as Mecca. Mecca is better. Of course, in Mecca and in Medina, you'll have 2 meals a day, open buffet. Once our trip to Medina is over, the buses will come on the 5th of the Hijjah to take us to the apartment building. The trip from Medina to the apartment is about 500 miles. 500 kilometers, sorry, which is about 300 some miles. We would pass by the miqat in Medina. The miqat is about 15 minutes drive from our hotel in Medina. And every year we go through this. When you get back to Medina, from Medina to Mecca, are you going to be in a state of ihram for Umrah, for Hajj, or you just go with nothing, no niyyat, no intention to do Umrah or Hajj? And is that acceptable? And if that's acceptable, is there a fidya? Do you need to slaughter for that, or you do not need to slaughter for that? I'm going to touch very briefly on it. The strongest of the opinion is that you come back through the miqat, either in the intention of doing Umrah or the intention of doing Hajj. If the intention of doing Umrah, we take you to the apartment. From the apartment, our buses will be waiting for you. It takes you to the Haram, you do your Umrah, we bring you back. You take your ihram off. After you cut your hair, you make the halal. If you have the intention to do Hajj, that means you stay in the status of ihram on the 5th of the Hijjah, the 6th, the 7th, even the 8th when Hajj start, the 9th and the 10th, you will take your ihram off. The third option is you come back with no intention. Because some scholars say, and that's why I told you, you say لبيك اللهم عمرة متمتعا بها إلى الحج. The Umrah I'm performing when I arrive to Jeddah is attached to my Hajj journey. So the scholars say when you leave to Medina and you come back, you did not separate your Hajj journey. You're still part of it. So there is nothing for you need to do when you go to the miqat. Some said you pass by the miqat, but you pay fidya, which is a slaughter elam for it.
Just one thing, just to clarify, as what he is talking about, there are 3 different types of Hajj we're talking about here. One is Hajj Ifrad. You only go for Hajj and you only wear 1 ihram. One is Hajj Qiran, that you wear 1 ihram and you perform the Umrah and you perform the Hajj with that also. That is the most virtuous because there is the most struggle in that also. You're performing Umrah and Hajj with 1 ihram. The type of Hajj that most people prefer is the Hajj Tamattu', which Brother Farid is talking about, that you perform Hajj and Umrah with 2 different ihrams. That's why he's saying that if you go to Mecca, you take care of your Umrah, you then go to Medina. When you come back, according to the Hajj that you are performing, then after that, technically, you only have to perform a Hajj. You only have to perform a Hajj. But then the drawback and that is that if you then enter into the miqat with the intention of now Hajj, saying that I've already done my Umrah, I only have Hajj, then you will be in the Ihram for a good, I think so, seven days, which is not very easy. So keep in mind is that when you enter, the best and the easiest, one of the easiest is you make the intention of Umrah. In that way, you can go perform your Umrah, get out of the Ihram. You have 2 days left before Hajj starts. The day of Hajj, which is the which is the 8th of the Hijjah, then you wear your Ihram and then you perform your Hajj. However, at the same time, some scholars say that because you've already done your Umrah, Hajj is going to start later on, therefore you just enter into the miqat and there is nothing that is required. So that's why one thing I just want to clarify is that when he says Hajj tamattu, this is what Hajj tamattu means. Umrah and Hajj with 2 ihrams. Just want to clarify that.
And the reason we encourage everybody and we do Hajj tamattu, because the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, he said, if I was making Hajj next year, I would come with the intention of Hajj tamattu. And this is the closest to Sunnah. When we arrive to the building, this is where the building is. This is Mina, right here. This area here is Muzdalifah, right here. Arafah is right here. Muzdalifah is here, Mina is here, Jamarat is here, and the Haram is here. The reason I choose in this area, and this is a preference for me after 14 years experience. A lot of people like to stay in this area, Azizia, because it's close to Jamarat. They stone, then they walk an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours, and they are in their apartment. They can take a shower, they can do whatever, and then they can go back to Mina. The reason I don't like that area, it is the most congested and heavily trafficked area. We cannot provide the level of service we want to our Hajjaj. To go from this area here to the Haram and back, impossible.